Part 1: Twilight Legends. The summer camp by the lake was the embodiment of freedom and fun for us teenagers. Warm nights, delicious food, new acquaintances, all this created perfect conditions for adventures and enjoyment. We, the boys, planned to make this camp unforgettable, and one day, deciding to entertain the girls, suggested a night of ghost stories. In the evening, as the camp was enveloped in twilight, we gathered everyone around the campfire. The fire crackled and cast dancing shadows on our faces, while the night sky was dotted with stars. The girls, sitting in anticipation, surrounded us, and we, full of enthusiasm, began to take turns telling the creepiest and darkest stories we could remember. When my turn came, I recalled a story I had heard from the locals. It was about a mysterious drowned man who once inhabited these places. I began to tell the tale. In ancient times, when the camp was just beginning its history, there lived a boy named Tom. Tom was known for his deep but unrequited love for a girl named Emily. He was obsessed with her, but Emily had no feelings for him and was in a relationship with another boy. Tom, unable to bear the humiliation and jealousy, in a fit of rage, killed Emily. Realizing what he had done, he couldn't bear the guilt and drowned himself in the lake, where they say his spirit still roams, searching for his beloved. When I finished, a shiver ran down the girls' faces. We boys exchanged glances, realizing that the story had made a strong impression. But soon we returned to a cheerful mood, and the evening continued without any major incidents. The night was warm, and we dispersed to our tents. Everyone seemed to have forgotten the ghost story, but around midnight, the girls began to make a noise. Concerned by their screams, we quickly ran outside. The girls pointed to wet footprints leading to their tents. It was a strange and disturbing sign, but despite our concerns, we took no serious action. We thought it was just some prank or the result of the evening's fun. Part 2: Night Terrors. Over the next few days, the girls began to look more and more frightened and depressed. We noticed that many of them had bruises and scratches, but no one could explain their origin. We, the boys, tried to find out what was happening, but they only brushed us off or said it was nothing. At night, the anxiety grew. The girls often woke up from nightmares and screams, and we began to worry. One night, when the camp was engulfed in silence, we heard the screams again. This time was different. The screams were louder and more desperate. We all, frightened, rushed to the lake. When we arrived, we saw my girlfriend Lyra sitting on the shore. She was soaking wet, her face pale and scared. She hysterically recounted that she had woken up in the water. I was shocked and scared. Lyra was in complete shock and couldn't calm down. I took her by the arm and tried to comfort her, but her fear was too great. We spent the whole night by the lake, trying to calm Lyra and understand what had happened. I felt I couldn't leave her alone, so I stayed with her. The night was long and tormenting. We sat by the fire, which had gone out, and around us was only silence and darkness filled with night sounds. When dawn broke, and everyone began to wake up, I thought the terrible incident would be left behind. But it was just the beginning. Throughout the next day, everything seemed normal, but by nightfall, the fear returned. I was so tired and scared that when I went to sleep, I encountered something I didn't expect. Part 3: The Curse of the Lake. That night was the scariest moment of my life. I woke up in the middle of the night, feeling I couldn't move. It was sleep paralysis. My eyes were open, but my body wouldn't respond. I saw a creature covered in seaweed slowly approaching me. It was wet and sinister, and its eyes glowed yellow like those of a demon. I was frozen with fear and couldn't make a sound. When I finally managed to scream, the paralysis released me. I looked around and saw that the floor of our tent was completely soaked with water. Panic gripped me, and I jumped to my feet. I woke up the guys, and we started looking for the source of the water. Our fear intensified when we realized the water had appeared out of nowhere. Later, when I spoke to Lyra again, she confessed that she had had similar experiences. Every time she was by the lake, she felt like someone was watching her and that something invisible was trying to grab her. This fear grew like a snowball, and we realized it was no coincidence. In the end, we decided to leave the camp. We couldn't stay in this place any longer, where the horror only grew each day. We called our parents and asked them to pick us up as soon as possible. When they arrived, we couldn't hide our fear and panic. We left, leaving the camp and the lake behind. We never returned to that camp, and even years later, the memories of that place haunt us. The lake, which was once a place of fun, became a symbol of eerie nights and dark secrets that will stay with us forever.